Welcome to the Beesies.
I'm Abby.
I'm Brittany.
I'm Jenny.
And I'm Mackenzie.
Remember the college days when you were best friends with your roommates?
We would come home and talk about anything and everything together.
We miss this space so much that we decided we needed this quality roommate time again.
So welcome to the Beesies. Come over and get cozy with your new favorite roommates.
Welcome.
Hello.
Hi. We are a little sleepy. We're recording.
Good morning.
We're recording
It is
very
bright and early.
significantly
So
earlier than
tired.
normal. But that's okay.
Yeah.
Anything for our Beesies.
And I went to bed at like 1 a.m. last night.
Ugh.
I don't
Were you
know
out
why.
partying?
No, not this time. I was literally just dumb.
I feel like you've been a party girl lately.
I'm a party girl. I was meant to party.
Reliving your college
I
life.
love party.
Well, you are in
Yes,
college.
honestly.
You are in college.
Mhm.
Yes. Your undergrad life, I suppose you could
Yeah.
say. That's so fun,
That's
though.
facts.
Yeah, I went to bed late mainly because Scott was still up editing our podcast. And so I was just hanging out with him.
Yeah.
Thank you, Scott.
I don't know
Yeah,
if you guys
thank
can
you,
hear it in my voice, but
Sorry, that was the biggest yawn ever, Jenny. Sorry, Abby, what were you saying?
it's okay. I don't know if you guys can hear it in my voice, but I spent like all day at a wedding yesterday, and so I feel like my voice is shot. And
Yeah.
I'm sleepy on top of that, and so I sound like a growling man. I'm hoping it will wake up and renew a little bit soon, but I don't have hope. I don't have a confidence.
That's okay. We love growling
I know, I sound
men.
like that too because I went to Halloween Horror Nights on
Oh, yeah.
Friday. So I was
Ooh.
screaming.
Okay,
It is
my
not
voice is
Halloween
like-
time though.
yeah.
I know, it's
They
'cause
start
it's
so
cheaper.
early.
Yeah, we went early because it's cheaper in September.
Don't they start on like August 31st or something?
They started on September 6th or something this year.
Okay.
Interesting.
That's so funny. That's just so early.
Yeah.
Were the people
I
there
know.
dressed up as the people from Tether? Like in the red suits?
I don't think so. Wait,
Oh.
what's Tether?
It's...
Oh, Us.
Oh, yeah.
They were dressed
They're
up from
Tethers.
Us.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was getting
Oh,
the
yeah,
name
yeah,
mixed
yeah.
up. That movie's so good. And what's
I know,
the
I
other
want to
one?
rewatch it.
Get Out. That one's also
Nope.
really good.
Oh, Get Out.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know if I've seen
no,
Nope.
thank you. That one scares me.
Which one? Get Out?
Get out.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that one.
I
It
love
just
the psychological.
yeah.
So good.
This okay, real scary movies don't scare me really. Like they're freaky, but I can move on from them. It's the real life ones that are like kind of more just psychological mess with your head that terrify me.
Yeah,
I'm afraid
Yeah,
it's going to
that's
happen
scary.
in real life.
I get that.
Yeah. That's why I'm scared of ghost movies, because what if it happens in real life and you can't run away from ghosts?
Yeah, they just
That's
will
why
appear.
that's scary.
They're a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh,
Yeah.
freaky stuff. Well, I'm glad you all had a good couple days. It's only been like 3 days since we recorded, so I feel like
I
it's been
ran
5
6
seconds.
miles.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Whoa.
Without
That's-
How
stopping?
was it?
Or
I
like-
did have to stop at mile 5 for a bathroom break.
That's fine
Mm.
Wow, you should have peed your pants like real
though.
marathoners. do.
Yeah.
Wait, is that what
Runners.
people do when they run a marathon? Do
Yeah.
they- Oh my gosh.
I've
But I
heard
know
too,
that
it's
like
like
some people stop for bathroom breaks because there's porta potties.
oh.
At least
I've
at the
heard
New
it's
York
like
Marathon.
I'd be a
uncontrollable at a certain point too.
Like
yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it's like after 30 minutes of running, I'm like, it's uncontrollable. I just have to keep peeing.
That's wild.
But what
Did
I was
it feel
doing,
so good?
yeah, what I was doing was because I'm getting ready for the Catalina 10K, and that one is a trail run and there's a hill, and so I'm like, honestly, I don't think I can run all that. I need some walking breaks. So I was trying to time, like if I took like a 2-minute walking break every now and then. Anyways,
Yeah.
so with those walking breaks, I did it in an hour and 7 minutes.
Ooh, nice.
I think that's really good.
That is really good.
For a new runner, I feel like that is really good.
That's literally amazing.
That's awesome.
Where did you run?
That's so
like
crazy.
I go to an indoor track at a rec center.
You did all 6 miles on that track.
Yeah.
I love that.
Is
That's
that
wild.
like it's probably smaller than a real track, huh? So it's like 11 laps is 1 mile.
12 laps is 1 mile.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh. Just running in circles all day
Yeah.
long.
Yeah.
Kenzie one time uploaded, like a couple times uploaded her runs to Strava, which like it's an app that shows the runs. And so her was this is like a little like scribble,
It's all
like ball
in
of all
circles.
these lines.
Yeah.
I
That's
love
so
that.
funny.
Do you feel like proud and excited that you ran so far? And do you feel like you can run even further now?
I feel like I still need to work on 6 miles.
Nice.
How much is a
I love
10K?
that.
Isn't it like 6 miles? 6.5 or
6
something?
point-
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably like 6.2.
Oh, yeah.
That's like usually the point.
Dang.
I thought
Yeah,
a
I need to train
5K was
better.
like 3.1 or 3.2. So
3.1.
Oh, yeah.
whatever
So it would be
twice of
6.2.
that.
Dang. That's
We're
awesome.
smart.
Yeah,
We can do math.
We're geniuses.
I don't know about doing math at 7 a.m. though, but
Will you guys do the Catalina 10K
yes.
in November?
Guys,
Oh,
just come watch us
November?
at least.
Yeah, November
That-
11th,
There is no chance.
12th.
If I can get
Come
work
on
off,
to Catalina Island.
then
I will be there
maybe-
holding a sign for you.
Yay. But
cheering
don't look
you
at
on.
me.
Abby,
No,
what if
never.
we
Brittany,
walked
get
it?
work off.
Would you walk
Yeah,
it with
do
me,
that.
Abby?
Here's the thing. There's a good chance I'm also already like working on that day. So
Yeah.
Abby doesn't want to hang out with us.
I just know that this fall, like when fall comes, I can't commit to just about anything happening
That's true.
because like it's absolutely insane for me for work. So
Yeah.
you know,
Brittany, you and Scott should come.
I'll try. Honestly, I don't know if I have enough vacation time, but I'll look into it and see because that would be so fun.
You can jet ski to the island.
Perfect.
Mm.
It's like a 2-hour jet
oh,
ski.
is it on Catalina Island?
Yeah.
Oh,
I do want to go to Catalina Island. It keeps
That's
coming up on my
cool.
TikTok feed, and it just looks so beautiful.
I've never been.
I'm pretty
I
sure
don't
I've been
know if I've been. I think
once.
I've only been as a kid.
Yeah, if I did go, if I'm remembering correctly, it was in high school. But I don't actually remember
Nice.
if that's where we went. I remember like taking a ferry over and stuff.
I'm so dumb. You said Catalina or 10K, and I thought Catalina Mountains, as in Tucson.
Oh.
So I was like, oh, you're like going up Mount Lemon. I did not register
Going
to
up
me
Mount
about
Lemon on a
Catalina
jet
Island.
ski.
No, like when she was talking about running.
I know, but
That
that's
would be
just so
awful.
funny.
I think
run
they
up.
do that. I think they do like bike races up there too, which just
Yeah.
imagine riding up that on a bike. Ay, no, thank you.
Nope. Could not
Like
be me.
triathlons and stuff. Anyways,
Should
Catalina's
we
cool.
explain what we're doing? Probably.
Let's
Yeah.
do it.
So,
excited.
Kenzie, via one of our friends, who.
no, Kenzie. Just say Kenzie.
Oh, okay. Kenzie.
Don't give him credit.
Sorry, friend. You don't get credit.
This idea came to me in a dream.
Yeah.
There you go.
Had the idea that we each come with a topic we want to talk about for just like 10 minutes. Knowing us, it might be a little longer, but we'll try and keep it to 10. And just like whatever topic we want to talk about, but no one else knows what we picked. So we don't have any like preconceived thoughts going on. It's just vibes. So
In the moment.
yeah,
I love that. I hope we fight.
I didn't pick controversial topics.
You did?
No,
Oh,
definitely
okay.
not.
I picked kind of a deep topic.
Okay.
I love
So
that.
Interesting.
okay,
I'm so interested to
that's
see
good to
where our
know.
brains went.
I had one topic that I thought was maybe kind of deep, so I'm not going to do that one actually.
No, do it.
Well, I don't think it's super deep. I'll save it for
Okay.
another time, but we'll start
Okay.
kind of lighthearted. I want to get you guys' thoughts on fan fiction because
Love it.
so
It's
the,
necessary. It's necessary.
the
For our
reason
society
why
to function, it's necessary.
is
Literally.
I should have looked up when this came out. I recently fell on the side of TikTok talking about Manacled, which is a Hermione and Draco fan fiction.
Oh,
I love that.
And so I saw someone like binding the book, and it is a fat book. Like because it's just a like online PDF. And so I was like, okay, like I'm kind of interested in this. And so I figured out how to like get it, and you can just download it to your Apple Books. And I started reading it. The amount of trigger warnings on this book, I was like, I don't know if I want to read this.
wait, what kind of trigger warnings?
Oh,
what can they put in there?
I mean, trigger warning. It literally was like rape, non-consensual sex, abuse,
my
yeah.
God.
rape, kidnapping. Like, I was not expecting it.
Yep.
Because I
All
was
in this
like,
one book.
well, I was just thinking, I was like, okay, I'm getting like a different ending. Like the war, they lost. Voldemort took over. Harry's dead. Apparently Ron's dead. This is all in like the first 3 pages, so it's not a spoiler.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, I just want to see like some Hermione and Draco love. Not at all what's happening so far. I only
Not
Yeah.
actual any love.
Well, I mean, I only read a chapter. So, anyways, I wanted to get your thoughts on fanfic because I've never read fanfic before.
I want to say one thing.
Yeah.
And fanfic writers, I love and respect you. You know that. But you
Come
are
for
sick
Kenzie.
and twisted in the head. They will use any sort of traumatic experience that could happen to someone and just add it into the story.
Yes. Yeah. Like
That is messed
it
up.
starts out and Hermione is basically a prisoner that they locked in like a completely dark place. Like she can't see anything, and they didn't feed her, do anything for 16 months. And somehow she
Oh my
like stayed
gosh.
alive. But that's like literally how the book starts, and you're like, "Oh, okay. That's normal." So, we'll see if I
this
continue
seems
reading
exciting.
it. But
Is it going to be like a Stockholm Syndrome love story?
I think so.
Interesting.
That's the vibes I'm getting. But everyone that I saw on TikTok was like, yeah, I finished it in 2 days. And I'm like, how? Like on my Apple
That's a
Books.
little intense.
Granted, on my Apple Books, it's just, I was reading on my phone. So it's like, it says a page is just what you're on. And so if I put it on even my iPad, it would
Yeah.
probably say like half the amount. But it said 2,000 pages. And I was like, how
Yeah.
am I supposed to do that? So
My goodness.
When I read Harry Styles fan fiction, when I was 14, I really liked it because the fan fiction would be like Harry was in love with you, YN, your
yes.
name. So you would just add your name in the story.
Oh
And like
my God.
Harry was always like drunk and he would like cheat on you, but there was always a way to justify it. Like, yeah, it was fun.
He was tortured. He is a
It was
yeah,
fun.
yes. He was a tortured artist.
he is.
Yeah, it's exactly like the after movies.
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
yeah.
That is the only fan fiction I've ever read, and I didn't even know it was a fan fiction when I read it. You guys told me after the fact, and I was like, what? No. I had
So
no
funny.
idea.
Oh, I remember that when you and Sydney didn't believe us that it was fan fiction. Or you
Yeah.
didn't believe
Woman.
me. And I'm like,
I
if-
just, I don't know. I never heard about that. I think that's just me not paying attention, though, too. Like, I looked it up and it was clearly like, yes, this is like confirmed. Like, and so I'm just dumb and didn't notice it. But I felt like it was very well hidden.
That's so
honestly,
funny.
I'm going to get back into fan fiction.
I'm like same. I love fan fiction. I read so much. I mainly read Larry Stylinson or Nary, Niall and Harry. fanfics, and they were so good. Those writers were amazing, and they were like
Yeah.
literally books like as long, like, because they would put the word count, and like I read ones that were like 300,000 words, 400, which is like bigger than like the fifth Harry Potter book.
Yeah.
And like they were
These
just
women
so
are
good.
scholars.
That is
They
They
really
are.
are. That's the other thing. Larry has been all over my TikTok feed. And
I
like
love that.
people saying like, this is undeniable proof that Harry and Louis are in love. And like it'll be like different interviews and stuff. And it's honestly making me believe it. But
Oh, I believe it. The people that believe that they're together today and like that all of
Yeah.
these things are like, I'm like, you guys are a little crazy. I
That's
feel
a
like
little
they were
delulu.
together in the beginning,
yeah.
like way beginning.
Yeah.
But fanfic is amazing. The only reason I feel like I stopped reading it is because I like got into Goodreads, and you can't like, at least in the past, you couldn't like mark like fan fiction on Goodreads.
I don't think so. Yeah, and what's the point in reading a book if I can't put it in my Goodreads?
Exactly.
right.
Because then no one can tell.
I want to find fan fiction on my new celebrity crush, John Corbett. He's the dad,
dad?
in To All the Boys I've Loved Before.
Oh yeah.
I love him.
What?
He's so cute. He plays Aiden in Sex and the City.
Oh,
I'm
like when
looking
he
at
was
his
younger?
picture.
Yeah.
There's gotta be.
I'm like, he's handsome now. Anyways, I'm gonna find fan fiction on him, and if there's no fan fiction on him, I'm gonna write
yes.
fan fiction
Ooh,
about
become a
him.
writer.
So funny. He gives me the vibes of like
He's 62. I didn't realize he was that old. Sorry. Never mind.
Kenzie, it's just a
you won't
sugar
go for
daddy. It's
older
okay.
men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm writing about him when he was younger in Sex and the City.
There you go.
I'm going back to the 90s.
he kind of
Oh my
reminds
gosh,
me-
he's 6'5". That's too
Oh.
tall.
that's
Yeah.
really tall.
That's why it's perfect that you can make your fanfic, because then you can shrink him and teleport him back in time.
You just make him the idealized version that you want
I feel like
for yourself.
5'10" is a good height.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Sure. Yeah.
I love that you can just change things in fanfiction. I one time read a fanfic that wasn't good, and I didn't finish it because in it, Louis was pregnant.
No.
Wait, what did you just say?
Louis was pregnant.
Louis was
That's so
There
random.
were so many male pregnancy fanfics.
That's amazing.
I love that.
Well, I feel like the listeners should know that Kenzie and I wrote a fanfic basically.
Oh,
Was it last year or earlier this year?
No, it was last year.
I don't
I think it was the
remember.
end of last year.
It was November 2022.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. It was based off of Shawn Mendes and Camila Cabello.
Yeah.
Drew and Reagan. How could I forget his name?
Maybe one day we'll release it for you guys.
Yeah.
Which
It's
one was which
amazing.
again? Who was Drew and who was Reagan?
Drew is Camila Cabello,
Okay.
and Reagan is Shawn Mendes.
Okay. Yeah.
We
I had it
purposely
swapped
chose.
in my mind. for
I
a
still
minute.
have it.
Yeah,
I think
we
it's on my
personally
bookshelf.
chose androgynous names. I love
Ooh,
that.
can you show
Let
the
me
camera
check.
what it looks like?
Oh my gosh, this is.
I know I have
Printing
it.
it?
I'll
It was
go-
good.
I have
guys.
it somewhere.
It was
Thank
the
you,
best
Brittany
doesn't
fanfic
have
I've
it, I'll get
ever
it.
read.
I have it.
Yep,
I
that's
have it.
That's
right
our cover
here.
to our book.
Oh,
There we
my
go.
Gosh.
It was so good.
Senorita.
Yeah.
You guys printing this at Staples was so humiliating.
I'm so happy I had that so
I'm
easily
sure.
accessible.
I love that.
It's pretty
You're
great.
such a good friend, Brittany, for keeping our first book on your
It's
shelf.
it's top shelf too. So what can I say? It's right next to our wedding
Nothing
album.
but the best. Oh my gosh.
Anyways, thanks for sharing.
Another thing-
Oh, yeah.
With fanfic, I just want to say, is also friend fic. It's fun. I would write friend fiction in high school. My friends knew. I would write it for them because they would ask me. And I would write about them. And
That's fun.
I love friend fiction. We should write a friend fic.
We
Well, I guess
should.
I
Derek
love
does
that.
friend fiction all the time.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
That's what Derek does.
Oh my gosh, I will never forget the time when he just texted us, like, randomly the longest text message I've ever seen
I love that about
of
him.
all of the stories of us.
I love that so
That's
much.
hilarious.
Yeah,
Well,
I think the opinion is that fanfic is great.
thanks. Maybe I'll continue reading Manacled and I'll give y'all an update.
Yeah,
I need to
tell
finish
us
The
about
Summer
it.
I Turned Pretty. I'm on the last one now, so maybe after I finish that or in between, because it's kind of a lot.
Nice.
I'm like, I don't think I could read this in 2 days straight.
Oh my
But
gosh, no. That would be so intense. You'd come out with like a very different attitude probably. You'd be like, I'm kind of depressed now.
Yes.
With
Okay,
all
but-
those trigger warnings.
Yeah.
We need
But that would
to.
just be
I
me.
forgot to set a timer.
Oh, I think that was like 9 minutes.
I think it's been 10.
Which is totally fine. Yeah. Kenzie, what's your topic?
Let me set a timer. Okay. Trigger warning, content warning, whatever.
Oh no.
Okay. I would like to talk about the 8 passengers. Have you guys been following it this week?
No,
Not a
I
lot.
didn't see anything.
Okay.
Not really.
So, Ruby, the mom of the 6 kids, they had a hearing to determine where the kids were going to be placed. And the son that was tied up by his like wrists and ankles, Ruby said that son shouldn't be around other children because he's been watching porn since he was 3 years old, and he sexually assaulted his younger siblings. And
Wait, this is her son, right?
yeah. And a lot of people aren't believing her. But I want to say, even if that is true, like, she has a history of leaving her kids at home alone. And also, like, where is the proof of like any intervention if he was abusing his younger siblings? But something to keep in mind is her business partner, Jody. Jody's niece went on Mormon Stories this past week because I forgot their name. Jody's niece was abused by Jody with similar tactics, like they were like tied up, and Jody would put them like in a closet essentially and say like, here's this piece of paper, you need to write down all of your sins, and then they would make them
gosh.
get on their knees and like beg for forgiveness for all their sins. And then Jody would look at the piece of paper and be like, no, there's still more. And Jody would say like, I had a dream that you like had an abortion. So Jody's niece would be like confessing to these things that they didn't do,
Yeah.
My goodness.
essentially. And
Oh my god.
because Jody was torturing them. Like, so yeah. Anyways, that's something to keep in mind. But Jody's niece talked about how Jody 90% of the time would make you feel like you are evil, the worst person in the world, but 10% of the time you would be celebrated, and like you would kind of crave that like celebration from Jody. Jody's niece talks about how, you know, ultimately she feels like that's like the concept of earning love is like a part of her upbringing with the Mormon church. But it made me think about people in my life who I feel like I have to earn their love. And it's that like majority of the time they are judging you, putting you down. But then when they say something that makes you feel like they accept you, it like feels so good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how do I break out of that cycle And like, do you guys feel like there's people in your life where you have to like earn their love?
Oh,
Interesting.
I
We have
honestly,
6.5 minutes.
my initial thought with like how to break out of that cycle is cut them out. Don't give them the power. Like, and I don't want to be so like exact about it because it's obviously like there's lots of situations with that. I'm trying to think of somebody personally, but
And obviously, like in my personal life, it's not as like extreme as like the abuse
Totally.
that Jody's niece went through, but like the concept of having to earn love
Yeah.
has just been on my mind.
I think like I would say if you can recognize that, just give them less power, whether that's don't like don't invite them to hang out, like wait for them to initiate things, like almost doing something like that. But obviously, like depending on the extent of it, it's like honestly cut it out. Like I don't think it's worth it to have someone like that. I don't know. I'm having a hard time fully forming my thoughts though because I can't think of somebody yet in my life like that. Were you able to think of someone, Kenzie?
Yeah. No, I can think of someone that's just so hypercritical, but for some reason
Wait, can you text it? Would
you guys
be
don't know
willing
them.
to tell
Oh,
us?
okay.
Oh, dang it. Okay.
So it's not us.
Brittany, I kind of agree. Like, what were you saying? Shoot, my brain just went blank. Oh, wait, no, it left me again.
I was just saying to like not give them the time of day.
I agree. I'm very much the type of personality who, like if somebody kind of crosses me or whatever, if I see any sign of like a bad situation, I kind of am just like we're done, cross you out, goodbye. Like I don't like drama. So anytime like something like that has happened in a friendship or something, I usually am just like, okay, well, I'm done like trying to make that work because that's not working. So I do understand like what you're saying about just like cutting them off or whatever, but sometimes I feel like people don't recognize the cycle when that happens, and that's
So
the
in
problem.
in my case, it's like family or family adjacent like people that I feel like I have to earn their love, like their love and acceptance feels so distant.
Mm-hmm.
And but I like what Brittany was saying that like you finding a way to not give them power because like the highs with them are super high and the lows are also super low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely have people in my life. I'm gonna text it to you guys. But and like it's so hard when it's like an authoritative figure in your life, like a parent or something. Like it's not really something you can cut off. Like and it's so hard to get to the point of losing of not caring, basically. I know that in my life we like feel like I feel like Jacob and I have done really well for like how far we've come and like the things we've done, but then it's hard to get like from certain people just anything like any like sense of pride or like just even caring in the slightest.
Right.
And I don't know, it's just so it's so weird to like earn love and then just stay in that. And then that just makes me think of like toxic relationships and how you stay in it, like when you're in an actual relationship. Like it's so like those things are just so complicated, like people that like judge others for staying in it. I don't know, it's just so hard.
But I think that's why people stay is because like I said, those highs where that 10% of the time you feel that acceptance, you feel so good when you feel accepted. And but the lows are super low. Like there's no like middle.
Yeah.
Right.
Makes
I
it
do-
seem worth it.
Oh, sorry, what were you saying?
I
Christy?
think part of it is just like it might just come with time. Like I feel like the times when I feel like I'm not giving those people like power over me is when I'm more confident in myself and my life and my decisions. But that comes with time and maturity. Like it's not an overnight
Totally.
solution.
I do. It is interesting. Like in general, this is a like I don't agree with the idea that you have to like earn love and like I guess in my mind I think of it more like respect. But it's interesting because many times I feel like those relationships happen in like a power dynamic where it's like a parent or a grandparent or somebody who's older or has authority over another person who is like obviously in the non-power position. And that person is trying to earn the love from these people who are like above them, you know, air quotes.
Also, if it's a parent where there's maybe they like financially help you out or you know, something like that.
I feel like in the dynamics, if it's like parent to child where the child is trying to earn the love from the parent, that is like really sad to me and messed up because as a parent, you literally make the decision to have a child and maybe sometimes you don't, but like you're the one who's bringing that kid in the world and that kid deserves like all the goodness that is possible. But I think that when the script is flipped, and I don't think this happens probably as often, but like I do feel that there is in a way, and I don't know if you guys agree with this, but no obligation to having a relationship with somebody like as a person who has no power to a person who does have power. Like I don't necessarily believe that children like are obligated to love their grandparents if their grandparents have never cared about them, but it's like, but you're my grandkid, so you have to respect me and you have to love me and take care of me. And it's like, I don't see you, like you don't have a relationship with me, but yet you expect this. And so in that situation, I think like the idea of earning love, like I don't know if I would necessarily put it into those words, but in my mind, it's like a relationship is a continual thing. And you have to like make the effort every day to like hold that, like have that relationship with somebody. And just because maybe they did one thing in your life that was great doesn't mean that like 10 years down the line, they still deserve the same respect because maybe they're a completely different person.
Yeah.
Does this make sense?
Yeah.
That's just relationship dynamics I've been thinking about a lot recently as like now an adult who I'm like trying to navigate in a way like relationships with my family members because I'm like, we just don't have the same dynamic anymore.
Yeah.
And I see us now more as equals, but they probably still see me as like a child.
Yeah.
That's like
and
a
so
whole
you're just
other
like trying to figure that out.
conversation.
Yeah, it's complex. But that's kind of where my mind goes when talking about this.
Interesting. Well,
I don't
thanks
know.
for your feedback. My time is up, but I want to
Okay.
say
I'm like,
one
we're ending
last
on that.
thing.
Cool.
I want to say one last thing.
Yeah.
Like if you are a parent that feels like your child has to earn your love, or if your child feels like they have to earn their parents' love, there are so many people in this world that should not have children. And I hate in general, like I know that like biologically there's a, you know, we want to like
Reproduce
multiply.
and whatever.
Yeah. But I hate that like in certain like religious communities we tie morality to having children because there are people that should not have kids, and I like I don't know,
And they end up having 8
like
of them.
like this 8 passengers mom, like she should have never been a mother. And so I hate that morality is tied to having children.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
That was a good topic.
Agreed.
Okay.
Dive
Next.
into this in the future, maybe more.
Yeah.
Okay. It's my turn, right? Yes.
Okay.
Okay, my topic, I was trying to decide between two of them, but I've decided. Okay. So did you guys see any of the like news about Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis?
A little
Yes.
bit.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Just
Yes.
a little
Okay, so
Another trigger
Okay.
warning.
Yeah.
yes, trigger warning. Okay, so Ashton Kutcher, Mila Kunis, and the guy, the like curly haired guy.
Let me.
I
I'll
forgot
look up
his
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 name.
name is Danny, I believe Masterson,
Yes.
but it's Danny is his first name.
Yeah, Danny Masterson. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I actually just Googled it. And it looks like they apologize for saying these letters. Anyways, okay.
Well, there's
so-
an update.
Yeah, well, it's too late. Well,
Yeah,
so
seriously.
Mila and Ashton. So Danny Masterson was accused of sexual assault. I think like literally actually rape.
He was found
and-
guilty, I believe, on 2 accounts, but innocent on one of them.
Yeah, so found like literally guilty on 2 of them. And Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher submitted letters to like the testimony to account for his character. And the letters were also really dumb. But they submitted letters and were like, we know this man, like he's a really good man. Mila's was like, he was such a good like older brother figure, and he also never did drugs.
Yeah. They also called him like a role model. Like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, like called him a role model. They both really hammered home on the fact that he didn't do drugs, which like I'm just like literally what is like who
Sounds
cares
like he
about
does
that?
drugs.
Yeah.
Right. And like Ashton Kutcher's had this dumb story. Like his was all about how he didn't do drugs and how he influenced him to like not do drugs. And then he was like, one time me and Danny were like at this restaurant and there was a woman being like abused by her boyfriend and Danny intervened and like he didn't have to, blah, blah, blah. And like it was just really dumb. So anyway, they submitted these letters and like one, that's already a really like controversial bad thing to do. But then also Ashton Kutcher has been like a really big proponent for like ending human trafficking.
Yeah.
And like Mila Kunis is also into that, and she also like just recently last year did like this very serious role in this movie about like sexual assault, and like she had a lot of last year was about that. But I don't know, just got me thinking like, what do you guys think about that, and then like what to do when your best friend or like family member or something like does something bad, and like even if they're in court or something, like do you support them? Like,
Oof. Here's the thing.
It is interesting because thinking about like when I heard the story, I was so sad. But my mind immediately also went to thinking about like maybe all the context that was behind all these things, because there's so much pressure when you're like in the spotlight, your friend is in this situation. Like he probably asked them for these letters. Maybe they went back to their like people to have a conversation about what should we do, what should we not. Like there's probably so much behind the scenes context that makes me very curious like how it played out and maybe what their real intentional like their feelings are. Maybe it's more extreme in the bad direction, and maybe it's like, oh, we were kind of forced into this because of these reasons and blah blah blah. Like I'm just so curious about all that backstory.
Yeah.
Because
right,
it's like there's just so much we don't see, and it appears as though it was just like, oh, he did bad thing, they defended him, the end.
but
there's
that's
so much in
like what
between.
something I was thinking about also was the background, and I'm like, honestly, no one would have known if they had said no to him. Like I know it affects your relationship to like say no, but they didn't have to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But did you see all this stuff about his ex-girlfriend that came out?
yes.
Yeah.
That is so interesting to me. And it just, I don't like this because Mila and Ashton have been like a power couple in my mind.
What came out about
I'll
his
talk
ex?
about it
Okay.
in a minute. But like they have been such a power couple in my mind that I'm like, I do not want this to like this image of them to break because I just have loved them so much. But I have to accept reality. Anyways, so his girlfriend, Danny's girlfriend from when he was on that 70s show, they dated for like 6 years, is one of the people who are like accusing him of rape. And she says it happened like when she was sleeping and while they were dating. And because it happened while they were dating, the court said, well, he's innocent then. I think that's kind of just it all.
Yeah, the jury was like
wrapped up, quick summary. But she came out and like after this stuff about Mila and Ashton came out, she was like posting on Instagram like about like, I know the dirt, like you forget that I was there for all these years, the early years of that 70s show. Like I remember how you treated Topher, who was the guy who played Eric. I remember this story that happened in this time. And like she didn't say anything, but she alluded to like, I know what happened here.
Yeah.
And so now I'm just like,
Well,
what happened?
Specifically, back in, I think, 2001, Ashton Kutcher, his date, randomly died. And she was saying, I know what happened on, like, February 21st, 2001.
Yeah.
I heard you.
She was, like, insinuating that he killed her.
There was like a situation where he was going on a date with this girl. He went to go pick her up and she didn't answer the door. And then he knocked on the door, like put his hand on the door, everything like that. Then she found out that she was murdered inside, didn't know about it. And then called the cops and was like, by the way, I was there last night. Like my fingerprints are going to be on the door because I was picking her up for a date. But like I'm in it, like that sort of stuff. So yeah, there was something that happened there that she was like, I remember this, or I don't know.
Interesting.
Like she didn't give details, so I'm just so curious.
Yeah.
But
I have such a hard time with all of that because like going back to like your question, Jenny, about like how would you like support people, because it's like for Mila and Ashton too, not saying that like they shouldn't have any blame, but it's like if you truly believe like your friend, you would probably believe like, oh, they're innocent. And so that's what I have a hard time with, is I like think about someone in my life doing that. And like if I know their character and it doesn't match, then like I might not initially believe like, oh, you've done all these terrible things. I don't think that means you should be naive about it though. And you should like, especially when you're in the public eye, like that's just so much more stressful. And I feel like you should really slow down before like writing character letters. Yes.
yeah. Like
And stuff like that.
references,
Yeah.
like that.
Cause it's like, I don't know. That's so complicated. But like, I think about like if someone in my family was like being accused of something, or someone I know, and like supporting them, I feel like if I knew they were guilty, I think there's a way to support them that's not saying your actions are okay. Because like that's like, I feel like what you have to do is like, I'm not going to like defend you and say you didn't do these things or that you're not capable of these things if that's just not true. But I can also show up to like court or show up to hearings and like be there for you physically. I'm just not saying that it's okay. Because like obviously when they're going through that hard time, it's like you love them and you care about them. And so you want them to feel supported. But you also don't want to say like, it's okay what you did. I don't know.
Right.
That's so complicated.
Exactly. I know. And like, so like kind of away from the like especially with Mila and Ashton as like famous people.
Oh yeah, they're
like,
idiots.
Yeah, like you should not have done that.
No.
Like
Yeah.
literally at all.
Especially since Ashton, basically he like left his acting career to, like you said, like run this like anti-human trafficking organization. Like it's ridiculous. And I think that this completely like, I hope it ruins his reputation and his credibility as like this like human rights person.
I do.
Which in a way is like so sad because he has, since he was like younger, I think he had like a different reputation when he was younger, and then has built this new reputation of who he is now and this idea and this image. And it's like within literally a second, you can make one stupid decision and it all just changes, and people are like, wow, never mind.
Well, but I think that the whole like human trafficking stuff, I feel like it was a cover up, like to reshape his image. And I think that like this is him.
This is him.
Like not just like, oh, I made a stupid mistake. This is his true character coming out.
Right. Because
So-
like this isn't even like to me, it's not even like a quick like mistake. Like there was obviously so much going into it
Right,
to like
yeah.
write this, submit it,
Oh,
like
yeah,
think
yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
I do think that if they hadn't written the letters, that would have come out though. And so they were probably like balancing that as well. And like that's what just adds to this being a complicated situation. I still don't think they should have done it because it's like there's other people in your life. But I don't know. That's so complicated.
But with the OG question, like if someone in your life did something bad, like I'm of the same opinion of you, Brittany, like I really believe in like grace and like mercy and like these things, but like I'm not going to publicly, even like I don't like, I'm not famous, like, but if you're like accused of something really bad, like I'm not going to like go out there and defend you.
No.
But I will be your friend still, depending on how
Yeah.
Well,
bad
this
it
is the
But even if you do the
sucky-
worst thing, it'll probably take me a year. But I still want to be there for someone. Like I believe in like
This is like
rehabilitation.
the sucky thing about being someone who people know, being in the public eye, anything like that, is any move that you make like that is going to be criticized. And if you are friends with somebody who did something bad in the past, that says something. You know, that means you're okay with what they did.
Yeah.
If, you know, like Taylor Swift dating Maddie Healy and being like, well, that means that you are okay with all his behavior. And it's like, well, he also could just be a friend. And she's like, no, I believe in second chances. Like as a human population, we teach these things about, or we hope for these things of like change, second chance, you know, forgiveness, all those things. But then we don't give like anybody, any influencer, any celebrity, whatever, sort of like any of that grace on the extreme level. Because yeah, like Jenny, what you said, I'd still be friends with my friends if they did something bad, but I wouldn't publicly defend them. Like obviously in this situation they are publicly defending him, but if they were still friends with him and seen going out to dinners or whatever, that's almost seen as being the same thing, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's just so, my point is I feel for celebrities because they're
It's
under
complicated.
just such, it's so complicated, and they're just under such a like microscope, you know? They can't make and do anything.
Yeah.
But I feel like in this situation, if you run a human rights organization,
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
just
I'm not
stay
saying we
silent.
should forgive him. I'm just saying in the larger conversation of what
Yeah.
Jenny's saying
Yeah.
about like how do you
Yeah.
feel about a family member? It's like I don't know if a family member's relationship of mine would change very much. Like
Yeah.
depending on what it depends on so many situations. What did they do? You know,
Well,
what
I think,
have
like,
they done to make amends after the fact?
I feel like the relationship would change, but I would still be there for them. Like I wouldn't be like, I don't know, if Kenzie like yes. Okay, if Kenzie like killed someone, I would be like text like, "Hey, I'm here for you if if you really really need it." But like I'm not really going to go out to dinner and act
Yeah.
normal.
Yeah.
You
And,
mean
like,
you
a
wouldn't help
regular
her bury the
friend.
body.
Yeah.
It's good to know the limits of your friendship.
Right. But yeah, just crazy. Literally boo, thumbs down to them. And
honestly, I feel like, Jenny, if you killed someone, I'd cut you off. I wouldn't talk to. In fact, I might send like a mean text.
Well,
like,
and that's where it depends
how
on
could you-
what you did too.
Yeah.
Like if we're talking about literal murder, I feel like I would do the same thing.
Oh my gosh.
I don't
Yeah.
know. That's very complicated. But it be that
I
way.
hate playing these hypothetical situation games sometimes because I'm like, I truly do not know what I would do. Like, I surprise myself every single day.
Yeah.
So I don't
crazy.
know.
Jenny, that was a good question. Now I'm having a crisis.
Well, and I
Yeah.
feel like I just wouldn't talk to them because I don't, it stresses me out because I feel like I'm playing God then,
Yeah.
like who deserves mercy, who doesn't,
Yeah.
and like so I feel like I just wouldn't talk to a family member that did something terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think just last point before we like wrap it up,
For Abby's.
like it's just hard. I just think, I guess this is kind of getting into a different conversation, but I really think that like everyone deserves it. And like I think your relationship should change, but everyone deserves, like, just being in school and like being part of this. Like I've been writing letters for like prisoners, and like they want pen pals, and like, and they've been in jail for like years and years, and like, they did something bad, but like they're still a person, and it's still
Yeah.
really like heartbreaking to read how they feel
Mm-hmm.
like at this point. And like if you can even think that about like reading a letter from someone who's been in prison, like I don't know, I just think everyone in your life, you could like
Yeah.
feel it. But yeah,
That's crazy. Well, thank you,
you,
Jenny. Abby,
Thank you.
what's our topic we're
Okay.
closing on?
Well, this is going to be a much lighter topic, and I was hoping maybe this would be a little bit fun, but a little
I'm
dark
ready.
and twisted as well.
Oh,
Um,
that's the vibe so far. So
oh, it's dark and twisted.
So I had a wedding yesterday, and so I've been in wedding brain, and I've just been thinking about lots of weddings. And something this couple did, they just didn't do many of the traditions, like the typical traditions that people do. And I feel like more and more people are moving in to that direction where they like don't want to do traditions and making their own traditions and whatever. So I wanted to talk about some of the origin, like I want to play game in a way and like try to guess what the origins of some of wedding traditions are. And then if we go through some of these, then like talk about, more like what we want to do or what we wouldn't do or whatever.
I love that.
So, what's like the first wedding tradition you guys think about?
Something blue.
Something blue. Interesting. Okay. So where do you think that comes from? Like I want to like try to come up with things, and then I have like sources that say kind of what they
It's
are
like a
from.
conspiracy theory game.
I know. I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's got to be for like the something new, something blue, something borrowed. Something. Isn't there another one? I don't know.
I think that it came from the past, and everyone was like, we're a little sad that you're getting married. And the bride was like, I'm a little sad that I'm getting married. So let's represent that. And they put something blue because we're like, I'm blue.
Oh.
I'm blue. Like a depression.
I love that.
Yes.
I do always feel like there's like an element of sadness to weddings. It feels like, especially for the bride, it feels like she's like leaving her family to be with
agree.
her husband. Yeah. Weddings always kind of make me a little sad.
Yeah. Something blue. So the color blue, white represents purity, but blue represents is also a symbol of purity and fidelity. And it's like always been associated with the Virgin Mary, I guess, like traditionally. So, because there is like she's often depicted wearing a blue robe in Christianity, the Virgin Mary is.
Interesting.
So it's it's kind of like a symbolic like hope for purity and obviously fidelity and stuff like that. So
I want to know where the tradition of the groom taking off the bride's garter with his teeth came from.
Yeah, specifically the
Kenzie,
teeth.
make a guess.
Oh, I have to see if that's even on this list.
Did you guys do a garter toss?
No.
Yes. I did.
Did you?
I think sometimes it's fun. Like
Yeah.
Did Andrew take it off with his
yeah.
teeth?
When
With his teeth?
I
feel
think
like
so. I
I
don't
re-
think I let him do that.
I can't remember.
I think now I would probably choose not to do it. Back
Mhm.
then, I was just like, "Oh, it's fun."
I mean,
right.
it
like,
is
it's
funny.
yeah. As a photographer, when couples are into it and they
Yeah.
are like having fun with it, I'm like, okay, it's worth it because you're enjoying it. When people are like embarrassed and don't want to do it, but they're like forced to do it, then I'm like, no, literally stop.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion on it.
Yeah, I feel like if we would have done it, I would have just been like uncomfortable, so it wouldn't have been like worth it. Whereas like if it would have been something like funny or fun, then
Oh.
like maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm not a
I
huge
do
fan.
remember this isn't on the like list, the article that I pulled up, but I do remember hearing this story one time about how where the garter toss comes from. Basically, it would be like a tradition of like consummating the marriage, like symbolizing the bride and groom
Ew.
go off, consummate the marriage, and then he would come out and like show the
have
garter.
the garter. Yep, I think you're right.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I love that.
Hey
That's
everybody,
so
we just
gross.
did it.
Ew.
Ugh.
Yeah, I don't know if that's really true, but that's what I've heard. And I'm
I
like,
know it's-
oh my gosh.
I've heard
think
something
it's-
similar, so I think
Yeah.
that's pretty. Is
Well, because back in the day, they like they used to watch
Yeah.
the bride and groom getting it on.
No, thank you.
gotta make sure you
No.
consummated the marriage, or else it doesn't even
Ew.
count.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Where do you guys think like having a bouquet comes from?
I feel like, isn't it to make the bride smell good?
Oh,
Interesting.
like there used to not be
Um,
like perfumes, so they would use flowers.
Because they all smelled.
Yes. Yeah, I believe it's because they couldn't like take showers regularly. And so it would be to mask the smell of like what they actually
Ew.
smelled
The
like.
odor. That's
Uh-huh.
wild. Oh, that's so
Isn't it?
gross.
I feel like all of these traditions are so rooted in like sexism. Because what did the men have to do?
Yeah, why?
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
Also, here's the thing. I feel like on your wedding day, you should be able to prioritize taking a bath. Like
yeah.
maybe you only get a bath twice a year or something, but it's like for an event that happens
sure
once
it's-
in your lifetime, maybe you could bathe.
Yeah.
yeah.
Just seems
Yeah.
funny to me.
Only taking a bath twice a year sounds so funny. I'm so glad I'm in this era.
Oh my
of
gosh.
life.
Tangent. Yeah. The other day with Scott and I were talking, I was like, do you think you could live in any other era or like time period? And I was like, honestly, no, because I love plumbing. And like,
Yes.
I love,
Yes.
I love the
showers.
luxuries of the modern world.
yeah, like I could not
Literally,
poop in a hole. It just,
Oh no.
No, in a
Like-
room, like sitting
Yeah.
across from each other on
and
a
watch it
bench,
just like go
watching.
down your street on cobblestones. Nope.
Ew.
Gross.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm fine.
I
Living
cringed
Okay.
at that part when we were going in Pompeii.
Yeah. Where my one that I want to know about is cutting the cake. Because all that I know
okay.
of is that it like symbolizes doing like your first act together. But I feel like there's got to be more to it. Or maybe there's
Okay,
not.
interesting. I do want to
Make
say
your
one thing
guess.
before talking about like regular baths and stuff. Another thing that I found out in my research, June weddings are popular because May like traditionally would be the annual baths month.
Oh.
So people would have June
Oh.
like that's actually goes back like June
That
weddings are
is
so
so
amazing
Interesting.
because
That
of
is
May
so funny.
baths. So anyways, fun
Interesting.
aside. Yes, okay. So
Wait,
wedding
wait,
cake.
wait. Wait. Because they take a bath in May,
That's their annual
So-
bath.
so a month
Oh.
later, they're
I
having.
guess.
Yeah.
I thought you
They're
were
like,
saying
we're still clean.
bads, as in BAD.
No.
And I was like, what is this thing, May Bads? I've never heard of May being bad. Anyways,
I love that.
I was like, I've heard
Yeah.
I love that.
I was like, I've heard
Yeah.
April showers bring
Like, I
May
think-
flowers, but
Right.
anyways,
I think they would take annual baths before the
that's
summer.
so funny. Well, yeah, and they had a,
and then-
Probably so gross.
that's
Like,
wild.
can you imagine too gathering as a group for a wedding? Not only just the bride and the groom, but the group coming together and be like, ooh.
You're probably used to everyone
Ew.
smelling at that point, though.
Probably.
Ugh, I could not.
Okay.
handle.
Yeah, so I'm just going to read what this says. It says, since cakes represent fertility, ancient Romans would bake wheat
Oh.
cakes and break them over the bride's head. Soon it became customary to stack these wheat cakes one on top of the other as tall as they could go, and the bride and groom were challenged to kiss over the tower without knocking it over. If successful,
Ooh.
they'd enjoyed a lifetime of good fortune as a couple.
Wow.
That sounds fun.
I've
It's
also
all
heard
fertility.
Yes, it's all fertility. I've also heard that there is a specific way, like a traditional way, you are supposed to feed each other your cake. And from
You
what
have
I
to cross
understand,
arms.
no, the man feeds the woman first because he's the provider,
Giving the
Mhm.
seed.
and then the woman feeds the man.
Wow.
Random. Love it.
Honestly, when Scott and I cut our cake, we did the smallest little itty bitty sliver, and it was so funny. Also,
I
our
love
cake was
that.
red velvet, so it did just look like it was bleeding.
Nice.
But it's fine.
Nice.
Yummy.
It's delicious.
I like it.
Yeah.
I didn't have a cake.
I want to know the tradition of walking down the aisle. What does that symbolize?
Walking down the aisle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like just in
Ah,
general,
guess.
or having like your
Mhm.
dad walk you down, or just walking down?
Just walking down the aisle.
I don't
Let
know.
us guess.
I feel like
Well, I feel like since it's like an altar, it's like it is like the father is like sacrificing his daughter. So I don't know if like the aisle represents something.
Like the journey to get
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
don't
say I
know.
feel like it would represent like a journey. I've always heard that like it's like the father's presenting her because it's like, okay, now you get to take care of her. Like it's not my responsibility anymore. And so I could see maybe in like older times, they had to like present her and like walk through like the town or something. And so now they just like walk down an aisle to like
Oh.
symbolize that. Also, I could be so
I
wrong.
totally believe that.
It
That's
would make
convinced.
sense.
Good.
Here's what I think. I think walking down the aisle symbolizes the bride leaving virginity.
Oh yeah.
And once again, because it's
Mm.
all rooted in the sexist things, the man just gets to stand there because who cares?
Well, it's
Yeah.
all
He's
either
already
all
in
of these
that world.
traditions I'm learning are either fertility based or fidelity based,
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
like about your
purity.
virginity.
Two
Yeah, or
F's.
purity.
Always.
Fertility and fidelity. Fertility and
Always.
fidelity.
Fertility. Wait,
That's a tongue twister.
fertility and
And
fidelity.
fidelity.
Okay, that's really
Mhm.
hard to say back to back. What is it, Abby?
Yeah. I don't know about specifically walking down the aisle, but Brittany, you have me convinced that you have to pass through everybody and like present them one at a time to society. I do know the act of like the father giving the bride away is because of it was traditionally a business transaction, and so
Yeah.
passing that business transaction from
Yeah.
one person to the next. And then also the superstition of like the first look and seeing them for the first time down the aisle, I feel like kind of goes along with this, is because if they didn't know them, they were afraid of them like running away or turning or changing their mind or
Oh.
something like that if they saw the bride. Even with the
Oh.
veil, the veil traditionally obviously goes over their face so they can't see them, and then they lift the veil and then they see them for the first time at the altar so that they can't.
Because they're so
Turn
worried that their business deal is going to
Wow.
fall through. That is wild.
Right?
It's
I
like, oh, I'm
love
so
that.
scared you're going to catch a glimpse of my daughter's face and bolt. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh my God.
The
It
thing
all
with these
boils down to
traditions-
capitalism.
Yeah, like when we're guessing what these traditions mean, it's like just think of like the most sexist thing you can think of.
Right.
A
Right?
sexist and objectifying thing, and you're right.
Right.
Pretty much.
Right.
Now I'm
Exactly.
against marriage.
It also is another thing, though. A lot of it is about spirits and expelling bad spirits, bad omens, anything like that. So the veil used to be, I think in some cases, like a fiery red color. And
Ooh, I
Kill
kind of
vibe.
like that.
it would
Yeah.
be, let's see, it says that would scare like bad spirits away. The bridal veil was actually a red sheet called a flumium. I don't know. Designed to look like fire so that her entire body would be covered in it and attempt to scare off any evil
Huh.
spirits.
I like that.
That's
wanna read
Yeah,
that.
that's a good one.
I want to look into more.
If you
now.
guys could do your weddings again, what traditional things would you take away?
I'm gonna
You-
do all the traditions and flip it and have Jacob do every single one
Ooh.
instead of me.
There you go.
Honestly,
You're going to feed him first.
Mhm.
I don't feel like I did or didn't do any that I didn't like. Like, we didn't have a garter or a bouquet toss. We were going to do a bouquet toss, but honestly, our DJ kind of sucked and he didn't do it.
Wow.
And I
Oh,
had
guys,
both of my...
Wait. My thing stopped
Oh,
because
because
my
your
alarm
timer.
went off.
Oh, that's okay.
Oh,
Just
just
start
now?
a new one
Okay.
real quick.
Okay.
Um,
I'm back.
Okay.
my parents both walked me down the aisle. Scott's parents both walked him down the aisle.
I like that.
We did do a first
really
look,
like
but then
that.
we also did like where we read letters to each other in like a more intimate setting, which I really liked, like before our ceremony. We did cut the cake. I would just cut the cake better. That's what I would do. So
I think I did literally like almost no traditions actually. Like I'm trying to think. I didn't get walked down the aisle. Nothing blue. I don't think I had a veil. I didn't have a cake.
You wore a white dress.
Yeah, I wore a white dress because
You are
I
pure.
was a virgin and pure.
actually,
Yeah.
that is something I would have the something borrowed, something blue, something new, all of that. I think I would have put a little bit more time into it just because I think it's like a fun thing to do. Like the only thing I pretty much thought ahead of was I got earrings that were sapphires, but that was partly because my birthstone is sapphire. And so it was like my something blue, but it was also like for my birthstone. And then like right before I was about to leave my house, I was like, oh, I don't have anything like borrowed. And so my cousin gave me her ear cuff to borrow and wear. And so,
cute.
which was super cute. And like, I do really like that it was that because it was like from my cousin. But
Yeah.
I just wish I would have thought about it more ahead of time. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's all.
I think if I did a wedding over again, I would elope and do like maybe a like elopement adventure day, and then maybe like at night come all together and like do a big party with all my friends and family.
Totally.
But I forgot. I definitely wouldn't do like we did. Oh, I know. The no flowers thing at Hannah and Dylan's wedding. Did you guys see that recently?
no.
Hannah
From
and
The
Dylan
Bachelor?
from The
I'm gonna
Bachelor
look that up.
got married in France, and she walked down the
Ooh.
aisle with no bouquet. And
'Cause
it
she
was a
took a
moment,
bath.
and I loved it. So, yeah, because she took a bath and she knew she smelled good.
She didn't do the flowers.
I would feel awkward not holding anything as I walk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely is something you can like hide behind, which is nice. But she was
Yeah.
like, she took it as like a runway moment, like
Yeah, I
strutted
love
down
that.
the
Oh my
aisle, and
Their
the dress
photos
was
look
beautiful.
amazing.
Yeah, their
They
photos.
got
are
married in
beautiful.
France.
Yeah.
I love
Kenzie,
that.
if you get
Did
married,
you-
can you please do it in France?
Yes.
Yes, but
You know
Like-
that guy who on TikTok who like sums up all or tries to go through every little detail of wedding days, like celebrity wedding days, and
Yeah.
it's like, how much does that cost? The amount was absurd. of how much. It was like $800,000 for their wedding.
I'm like, did these guys come from money, or are they really that famous that they're making this much money?
I bet it's both.
I bet you they
And you can make so much money.
And
as
of,
an
and of course
influencer.
they sold their wedding photos to People magazine.
Yeah. And I've heard that bachelor couples are really into the getting free stuff type of thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say they probably got a lot of it. That's
you
so
never know
wild.
like what shortcuts people were willing to give them because it was a high profile wedding.
Yeah. Dang.
Well, it's not like Dylan Sprouse and Barbara Palvin or Brooklyn Beckham where they sold their wedding photos to Vogue.
True.
Ooh,
But
nice.
They're
that's
selling them to
classy.
People magazine. I'm
Yeah.
just
That's
shocked.
when you
Like,
really
and
made it.
no offense to them, their wedding looks beautiful. I'm just like, I didn't know that they were that well off that they could
Yeah,
have like this
same.
fancy wedding in France.
I
Yeah.
mean, they are the two of them do so much social media and like
You make so
they
much
are just
money.
hardcore content creators. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do make a really good amount throughout the year because they're like very dedicated to it.
Yeah. Dang.
I don't know.
This was so fun.
Anyways, yeah.
I really
this
liked
was lit.
this.
We should try and do this at least once a month.
Totally.
Because this was like way less stressful, also, I feel like planning this episode. So,
Yeah,
I say we do it every week.
honestly,
Mm-hmm.
I'm down.
we'll see.
Twice a month.
We'll discuss.
Yeah. Well, thank you all. We love you. What are we supposed to say?
Thanks
I'm
for
blanking.
listening.
Oh, yeah. I'm just like,
Follow
bye.
us at
There's people, in case you didn't know, we're recording this for other people to listen to too, not just us.
Yeah. You can listen every Monday now. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Beezy's Podcast and on YouTube at The Beezy's Podcast. BeeZies.
Woo!
I get people saying
and
the name
have
wrong.
a good
but
day.
goodbye. Love you.
Have a great Monday.
Bye 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 bye.